How's everybody doing this morning? Good. I see some familiar faces in the crowd. See some Ike hats, some Ike shirts. I like it. Who's excited about the snow?
Get it over with.
Eagles. Smallmouth. Got progressively louder. That was a great introduction. I appreciate that. But I'm excited about. We have two seminars today, and we're going to take two different approaches. This morning we're going to talk an actual technique that's a new technique that's catching a lot of fish in the Northeast for me, largemouth and smallmouth. And then this afternoon we're going to take a little break for lunch, and this afternoon when we come back, we're going to be talking a little more theory, which is good too, because part of fishing is all up here and making decisions and finding fish. But I'm excited about this first topic right here, which is a micro jig. Show of hands. How many of you have actually spent time with a micro jig in your hand? Raise your hand. That's great. So maybe a hair less than a quarter of the room have already experimented with this technique. And it's, trying to think of the best way to describe it. It was hiding in plain sight for me for a lot of years, right? Because how old is this full-size skirted jig? How old is that technique? Dude, it's older than dirt. It's probably older than Rick Clunt. How old's that dude? I always like to talk about Rick, but never in front of him. Believe me. I'm still getting nervous. I still get nervous with that guy. Like, a couple times last year I'd be in the weigh-in line. I got fish. He's in front of me or behind me. I feel nervous. It's weird. My hands get all clammy. I don't know what it is about that guy. It makes me nervous. This technique's been hiding in plain sight for a lot of years because jig fishing we've known about forever. And even a compact jig we've known about for a long time, right? Missile mini flip, Bitsy bug, been around for a while, right? But that's not what a micro jig is. That thing makes it look big. That's probably the size of the jig they throw down in Texas right now. But a micro jig is a true ultra finesse jig. It's a spinning rod jig. It's itsy bitsy, so tiny. And it's been hiding in plain sight for a lot of years. And for me, I took a trip to Japan. I think it's going on 4 years ago now. And it's the first time I saw the effectiveness of what that little, look at that little thing. I saw the effectiveness of what that can do. And the quality it catches for a finesse technique. We're going to talk about that. Let's go through this thing. So, yeah, let's just decipher what this micro jig is. And we already talked about the first one, which is its size. Dude, it's diminutive. It's puny. It's micro. Give me some other words for small. I ran out of them. Minute. Any other words? Minuscule. Tiny.
It's a petite jig.
Petite? What's small in Spanish? Pequeño.
Poquito.
Poquito. No, don't get me in trouble. You don't have me saying body parts, do you?
No.
Please don't do that.
A little.
Okay. Dude, look how little it is. I mean, these things are literally from a 32nd of an ounce up to about 3/16 to be considered a true micro jig, right? They're little. Look at that thing. Tiny. And when you look at that thing, you say to yourself, how the heck are you going to catch a big fish with that jig? But for some reason, this finesse presentation targets bigger fish. Just like a full-size jig, right? What's the deal when you're flipping? How many guys have seen it? You're flipping out there, you flip wood, and you're flipping with a little creature. And you catch a lot. You'll catch a good one every once in a while. But then you switch to a full-size jig. You don't get as many bites, but what happens? They're always bigger, right? This same thing happens with this bait. It definitely triggers a bigger bite. So everything is smaller. the weight itself, the profile of the bait, the skirt. It's using a thinner skirt, shorter, thinner skirt, not as many strands, right? Everything is small. And for sure, if there's anybody that doesn't like to throw that rod, a spinning rod, because they think it's sissy fishing, leave now, because you cannot throw this on a casting rod. I've tried to throw it on that thing, and you end up with bird's nest. You can't. This is a true finesse presentation, right? True finesse presentation. Let's see. One thing before I get to this slide I did want to say about, when you look at this micro jig, there's a lot on the market. I never will come up here and tell you to buy one brand. If you go to Tackle Warehouse, you got this nice code right now. You're going to see probably 4 or 5 different styles of micro jigs on there. The only thing I want you to keep in mind is,
It's Mike Iaconelli. This is Bash U TV.
Here's what's awesome about Bash U TV.
You get the top instructors.
Real tools that help you catch more fish consistently.
And that's why you want to check out Bash U TV.
Join the Bass U family.
Welcome to Bass U TV.